The date today is 1/31/2015, and this is William McConnell. He's a World War II veteran with North African experience. We're in Evansville, Indiana right now, interviewing William. William, go ahead and tell us when you were born and tell us a little bit about your experiences up into and in the beginning of World War II.
I'm William McConnell, and I was born on 1st of November 1921, and I went into the service in 1942. I went to Indianapolis and enlisted up there with 7 other people. We then went to Chicago and at Great Lakes, and we had I was in a rated company, and we spent I think about 3 months in there in December and January, and then in February we left. I went home for a few days and then went back to the Great Lakes, and from there we went to it was sometime around the latter part of February when we left Great Lakes. We went
43
in 1943. That's right, and we left there. Went to Long Island. We were billeted in the Hotel Leda out for a period of time, and then from there we went to Bayonne, New Jersey, where we boarded ship. We were left at that point in probably one of the largest armadas of World War II, and we spent 2 weeks on the water. Back at that time, of course, the U-boats were really knocking off our shipping and like this, and then we landed in Oran in the middle of March of course, 1943. We went in there and were base builders, and I had charge of a couple of the warehouses there where we were storing things, getting ready for the final push in North Africa and, of course, eventually Southern Europe and like this. And then in the early part of May we boarded one of the LSTs, and we then made a landing in Tunisia, La Galette, Tunisia, and went in there, and we were part then of a dry dock detachment, and we landed with a bunch of Army engineers and Seabees, and got ready for the invasion of Sicily and like this, and there was, of course, a lot of activity. Then sometime, I think it was around the 20th of July, the invasion of Sicily was underway, and I recall very vividly being called, everybody called to order and group, and we were told that, which we could already see, the bombers were coming out of the desert and getting ready to hit Sicily, and this was quite a view at that time. And then after Sicily, then Anzio came, and we had a bunch of our guys then helped man LCIs, landing craft infantry, and that's when Sicily was hit, and then Anzio took place later, and of course then southern France and the like, and then Naples and so on. And this was in 43, and then we were stationed there still in La Galette and repairing small craft. We could handle up to the size of a yard minesweeper or an LCI, and of course we handled a lot of the LCTs that were on the LSTs. And LST 325 was
325. No, you're
325 was one of those that our outfit serviced and helped get ready for the invasion of Sicily, and then a number of other small craft that we could handle, but we couldn't handle anything bigger than a yard minesweeper and like this, but we did handle many of those LCTs. And again, the LCT 25 or 325 was a part of the Sicily invasion, and so I think that is verified in their log that they were in La Galette for the purpose of getting ready and like this. Of course, our outfit, Dry Dock Bunch, took care of many other ships and like this, and we fed a lot of people in and out of there, and at that time it was quite a busy place around there in Tunis and La Galette. And then again on the first invasion, I think was about the 20th of July in 43, and then again those others followed, as I had mentioned there, and that was our job to keep everything in repair and get ready to go for the next one.
Tell us when you got out of the service and how you got out of the service, where you ended up.
I spent 2 years in the Mediterranean, and then in, let's see, I returned, I went back to Oran, and then we went aboard a big transport that had been used for hospital and like this, and it's a remembrance of excuse me. We went back to the States on this transport. It was a big cruiser that had been made into a transport and kind of a hospital ship, and on this ship, we all know about the size of a ballroom on one of these big cruise ships and like this, and on this in this ballroom was nothing but cots and nothing but amputees. We landed in New York on Christmas, or no, not New York, in Norfolk on Christmas Eve of 1944, and we couldn't get unloaded until the day after Christmas, as I recall, because everybody was, they didn't have enough people around to do this. Then went back to Great Lakes, and from Great Lakes I went home for 30 days, and then I went back to Great Lakes for reassignment, and I was told that there was a spot down in southern Indiana that I could go to and be of service in that area. So they sent me down to Crane, Indiana. I was in Crane, Indiana for about 10 months, and I was then went back to Chicago, Great Lakes, and was mustered out at that point in October. So actually my time in the Navy amounted to about 3 years, just almost on to the day, and so this was quite an experience. And from there I went back home and got back to work in my usual manner of I was
where was your hometown?
And I went back to Princeton, Indiana.
Yeah.
Yeah, and went from there. So this was it.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. McConnell. Appreciate your service to our country, and very interesting North African experience, and with had local contact with the LST 325. That's the only one left in the world out of 1,100 made in World War II, and the little Higgins boats on those were repaired by you, and some people say the Higgins boats saved the war or saved the country. So you probably repaired many of them that went over to Sicily.
Our people did, and if there was anything that did make its many things made their contribution to the winning, but that LCT or the LST was the big winner in all of this, that handled so many people, and they really it was a rough ride, but they really did the job.
This is a little summary that Mr. McConnell and his son have put together. World War II North African campaign, 42 and 43, up to 38,000 casualties. The Battle of Kasserine, casualties around 5,000. And we'll show you some photographs of that, and William will explain that. Butch, explain that. Go ahead.
Kasserine Pass was in the southwest part of Tunisia, and we weren't real close to that. That had happened before we got in there. But the war finally in North Africa was over about 3 weeks after we made that final landing in La Galette.
Okay.
This was taken in La Galette, Tunisia. This was a schoolhouse where we were billeted at that time, and we'd been in there about a month. We got in there in May, and I think this was taken in June. This is our detachment of dry dock people that were doing the job of getting things ready, helping to get things ready for the invasion of Sicily. This is a dry dock. You can see the ship here. I think that's probably an LCI. And we had a number of slips but this was the largest vessel that our gang could handle. And this is a part of our dry dock crew that was operating, doing some work at that time. Is a picture of a bunch of my buddies there, cooks and bakers and like this, and we were feeding a lot of people that came in to the dry dock for repair. But you'll see here a little bit of a ice cream freezer that between the time that we landed in there and everything was taken, then between then and July, when we landed, there was a detachment of Seabees that landed with us, and a detachment of Army engineers, and our job was to build bases and feed and take care of people along that line. So that the Seabees made that ice cream freezer for us.
In this?
Yeah, this was part of what was on the beach, and like this after the end. And Gene Anthony here was the photographer that landed with us, and he's the guy that took these pictures that you're going to see here.
What kind of plane is that?
I don't. This was a Italian plane, I believe.
Yeah.